a 2.0 master on my screen. Fantastic, excellent. All right, so let's do a little bit of a kind of an introduction onto what we're going to cover tonight. So tonight's about our weekly review, as in reviewing our strategy. So whether you're trading gold, crude, coffee, the DAX, it doesn't really matter what market you trade and what system you're using. One of the requirements for managing any system that you trade is that you regularly review the system to make sure that it's really tracking well with the market you're trading. Now, we know as traders, and we've been through, pretty much everyone here's been through the program, or for those of you who are just going through the program, one of the skills that you're developing is basically being able to develop a strategy, but also manage that strategy in real time, trading and tracking that in the market. Now, obviously, the more variables you have to your system, the harder it is to maintain the robustness of that strategy. And then also, the more elements you have in your strategy, the more likely it is to be sensitive to market conditions. So what I mean by that is that let's take FTO4, which is our coffee, on a 75 share bar. Let's take that strategy as an example. Now, if I open this strategy up, this performance strategy up, and I have a look at the actual system, I can see that, now that's our pilot, so we'll go to our high performance. I can see that this strategy trades longs and shorts. So if I've got a system that trades longs and shorts, I really have got a strategy that is not, it's more balanced, isn't it? Would you say that it's, if I've got a strategy that will take long and short trades, it's more of a balanced strategy? Because remember that the more customized you have your strategy, the easier that strategy is to be subject to sensitivities in the market. For example, if we look at, and I'll put it in this perspective, if we look at coffee at the moment, we've got a situation where the ATR is dropping off because we've had a couple of fairly ordinary days on coffee as far as range. You know, part of that may be Memorial Day, the lead up to Memorial Day. It doesn't take much for, so we also know that the volatility is still very high on this market. Now, where's our direction for this strategy at the moment on the daily chart? Where's our kind of bias at the moment? So our bias is definitely to the long side because we've got our moving average. Initially our bias was to the long side. Now our bias is to the short side. So we've got a downtrend bias to the short side. We've crossed below our moving average. You can see quite clearly there that we definitely have a short side bias. Now in this period here though, we still had, even though we had a very strong long bias, and we still had a long bias here, we were still making money on our strategy, weren't we? On our actual high performance system, we were making money because this is going back to the almost the 1st of January. This is still making money. So we can say quite confidently that this strategy is a good one because it's got a balance between long and shorts. So if we continue with this strategy going forward, we want to try to be in a situation where we're keeping that balance between long and shorts, don't we? But what we need to do is we need to find out, right, well, if this strategy has been working really well, what days of the week are we trading? So every week that we're assessing our strategy, and we'll go days of the week, and then we'll look at longs and shorts. Every week that we assess our strategy, we're really kind of getting under the hood of the system and saying, right, well, what is working now, and what do we need to be watching for next week and the week after? And are there any changes happening to our system that we need to kind of look out for or be kind of cognizant of? And if you have a look at our longs and shorts, so we'll go longs and we'll do shorts over here. We want to see what days we're trading. So if we go into our days of the week, review our strategy. Now I'm going to look at the high performance system first. So the high performance is the middle one. We go into our data window, and if we load up, now to look at our days of the week, we really need to load up our A tracker, don't we? So let's load our A tracker in here, and that gives us our all days. So has anybody not used the A and B tracker? So just quickly get an idea, because we've got some new people in the group. So has anybody not seen or previewed the A and B tracker? What the A and B tracker do is basically they track the performance of the different days of the week and the longs and the shorts. So they break up the strategy, so you're getting a really good look at every single day's trading. Now if we look at this here and we go to our A and B tracker, we want to have a look and see, okay, there's our all days. So if we were to have a look at this from an all day trading perspective, we would say that Monday's all days on our high performance system is really not looking too good, is it? Its current drawdown is 1181. Now its maximum drawdown is 2812. Now if I look at that system and I say, right, well, my current drawdown is probably higher than I want to have a drawdown on a system, but the trouble is that if I'm looking at this week's data, what isn't that information telling me? If I'm looking at Mondays, what is that information not telling me? Because there's some critical information that we can't really just get from the tracker. When the max drawdown occurred, we're not seeing visually because we've got a drawdown of 1181, but we actually have a maximum drawdown of 2812. So it could have been in the last 2 weeks that we've actually recovered over half of that drawdown. So we might have a massive bounce, and that's all happening now. Now, what do we also need to find out on Monday on all days? We need to find out where is that profit. You see, there could be a really a fair bit of money coming in on that day, and what do we need to find out on specifically on that day what's happening? Because remember, your system is taking trades on the long side and the short side. Yeah, which side of the market? Now, if we were looking at trying to work out which side of the market, we would probably lean towards the short side, but it's going to be interesting to see where the money's coming in, and if that's the case, that's the most recent. So you can see Tuesday, that looks really good. Current drawdown though is 1181, and it may be because we've got all this money and all this information on each day, we don't know whether the shorts are trading really well, but the longs are starting to drop off. So we're not seeing the balance or the pattern of where the profit is coming from or going from. And the same on Wednesday. Wednesday's made a lot of money. It looks really good. I mean, the current drawdown's 450. That's fantastic. $9,500. Again, Thursday's a really solid day, and then Friday. So we don't even really know if we're trading both longs and shorts on those days. So let's have a look at see what days we are trading on this high performance system. So really, when you do your analysis, you really need to go in and look at your overall strategy, because on this high performance system, we're actually not trading Monday longs. So on the long side, we don't have Monday on. We've got Tuesdays being traded. We have Wednesday being traded, Thursdays off, and Friday. So we're only trading Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now on the short side, we have on the short side, we've got Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. And we'll put that in there. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. So if we're looking at our system and we're saying, right, well, have a look at the performance report on this strategy, we can see that it's been tracking very, very nicely. It had a little bit of a rough week, 1275. The max drawdown on this system is around about 4,000, but it's made a huge amount of profit. Their profit on this overall strategy. The average trade net profit is 342. We know that the reward to risk and the profit factor are 2.67. This is just a very, very solid strategy. It's a perfect time to be trading this, and it has been for a little while now, and it's just delivering some really good profit. However, are we doing enough with this system? Do we need to have a little bit more of a look under the hood? Because remember, what's happened recently on this market that is going to potentially change the way we trade this system. What's the big thing? The ATR's dropped, so your range is dropping. That could be based on more so the lead up to Memorial Day and those few days there. So that could definitely be impacting there. So we might get a big range day. We need to keep an eye on that. So we need to if we're trading this system, we need to say, right, well, if we are tracking this strategy, we definitely need to keep an eye on range. That's right. We also need to look at, all right, are we maximizing our short bias? Because when I look at this system, I'm thinking, right, well, yeah, look, we're all in here on the short side. That's fantastic. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, great. We haven't got Wednesday, sorry, we've got Thursday, Friday, so we're missing Wednesday. So what we need to do now, and we know that we've got a short bias, we're only trading Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Is there a day in there that is actually making some money that we're not trading on the long side? Possibly we might have to drop a couple of those days. We'll see how that plays out. But let's grab let's have a look at our high performance system and see how the days are stacking up as they stand now. So we'll go to our days of the week, and the days that we are trading on the long side, Tuesday looks really good. It would stay on to me, even though we've got a short bias, we would still trade. And remember that a lot of the profit that was made was actually made on the long side as well, and we've made profit on the short side. So it seems to be a system that is taking advantage of both sides of the market. Wednesday looks really good. The current drawdown is 450. That's definitely very good. And Thursday, Friday again. So that Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday combination that we have on there, that's fine. Look, that is quite good. Average trade net profit's good. But what we probably want to see is what's happening on Monday and Thursday. Are there any opportunities there that we can add to this? Because what do we want? Ideally, what we want is we want a system, and someone made the point today that I think it was Kim. He really likes having a strategy that is almost like his pilot system. So rather than having a fully, trying to pinpoint a time of the day or a day of the week, he really likes to trade strategies that are robust, that almost run exactly like his pilot strategy. And I like the way that he approaches that idea. And I think that what we need to do as traders as a group, and I know most of you do, is that we need to be very vigilant in keeping an eye on our days of the week, longs and shorts, because when a day of the week becomes profitable again, we need to be aware of that so we can take advantage, don't we? We don't want to wait for a month or 2 months and then realize when we do a monthly or a 2-monthly DLS or a check of each of the days of the week that, we missed out on a day that's been very profitable and it's produced a couple of $1,000 worth of profit that could have been in our account. We don't really want to be missing out on that. So it just comes back to your process, doesn't it? It comes back to, right, well, every week I'm looking at my systems, I'm tracking my strategy, and I like what Chris sent me through with and I'll respond to that as well. Chris added into his strategy the MACD, and I like that. I like the idea of having the MACD Bollinger Band in there, because you're getting a really good feel for where the moment. Now, what does the MACD tell us? Remember, the MACD tells us, it gives us an idea of where potential divergence is in the market, where we've got momentum, because once we cross that zero line on the MACD, we've got strong bearish momentum. So you can see here on this Bollinger Band, we've got strong bearish momentum, that we've crossed the zero line, our MACD. So what's happening with the coffee market is, And this is the analysis that we want to go into. What's happening with the coffee market is we're getting a very, very strong setup for a sell-off. Now, if you remember from our analysis last week, and I'll just quickly bring it up now, the seasonal charts were very specific, weren't they, in what's going to happen and play out on coffee. Does anybody remember what we saw on the seasonal charts with coffee? And it lined up really, really well with what's happening at the moment. Can anybody remember what that was? I'll bring that up here now. Okay, so that's okay. So what was happening with coffee, and this is interesting because it's lining up beautifully. If I put the coffee seasonal charts here, now the seasonal charts are a collection of data that gives you an indication of what has happened historically over the last 37 years on different markets that we're tracking. Now, this is on coffee, so this is not a guarantee that this is what's going to happen, but this is showing us what's happened traditionally and historically over the last 37 years. In May, June, which we're in now, we typically see a sell-off in that month, and a sell-off, and that's a fairly strong bearish trend there. Now, coming into this month and seeing our daily chart, already we're getting definitely a short bias here. So if we review our system with that in mind, well, our seasonals are lining up, our daily chart's lining up. We need to be very vigilant with our strategy, don't we? We need to be vigilant from the point of view that we want to maximize all days of the week and be as profitable as we can. So we need to see what's happening under the hood of our system. At the moment, we're trading Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. All the days that we're trading look okay. But what we need to do is we need to see, is there any other opportunity? So we're going to drop this strategy on our pilot system into our DLS because we can't really see exactly what's happening on Monday longs, can we? Because the current drawdown is 28.50, the max drawdown is 33.56, but the trouble is that we can get other days of the week or times that basically you might have, say for example here, a drawdown on Monday shorts of 27, max drawdown is 2700, but the current drawdown is only 1181. So when did that, how is that happening, that recovery from that max drawdown, is that happening right now? Or did that happen a month ago and we're just plateaued out? Because if it happened a month or two ago, then it happened a month or two ago when when the system was doing really well on the short side, but now in the last month, nothing's happened. You know, we could very well get very little activity over a month, and if we turn the Monday shorts on because we think it's recovered that amount of money, we might be just adding a system in that's really not producing any profit, but not really producing losses, but chewing up brokerage, isn't it? Because it's chewing up the cost of trade. It might be winning, losing, and we don't want systems that are we don't want systems that are trading without any profit. We want systems that are turning profit over and increasing our average trade net profit. So what do we need to do next? If we've looked at the daily chart, we've looked at our pilot and our high performance system, we know that we need to delve a little bit deeper into this process, don't we? We need to see, right, well, are they the best days of the week, longs and shorts, that I can potentially be trading on this market? Do I need to do a little bit more work? What do I need to do next to analyze this data? What's our process on a weekly basis for us analyzing our data? And where do we put that? Yeah, so we need to copy this here. So we'll run our performance report, and we're going to save that as an Excel document, and we're going to call that coffee. Actually, we better make sure we've got the pilot system loaded up here. So let me grab that here. So there's our pilot, and we'll just, that's it. We want to save our pilot system. So we're going to go pilot coffee pilot, and we're going to analyze this strategy. Now we need to save it as an Excel spreadsheet, don't we? Because that's what our interrogation tool is. So now we're going to move over to our DLS. Now Not everybody may have seen this before. I'm hoping that you have. If you haven't, I'll kind of try to get you up to speed very quickly with it. This is our days of the week longs and shorts optimizer. So this was put together by Ross. Great little tool because it allows us to take that report from TradeStation, and I'm going to open that up now. So I'll go into here, and it's just having a bit of a think. Okay, let me just grab this. And let's open that report up. So we'll go to coffee. There's our coffee pilot. We'll open that up straight away. Now our coffee pilot strategy is opened up. Now this is the one that we saved. Now what we need to do here is we need to copy our trade list because that's where all our information is. We need to copy that trade list. And we're just copying all trades. Some 200 odd trades, 202 trades. So we'll copy that and we'll go to our DLS. And we will drop that in our data input. So in our data input, and I'll just move that over for a second, clear something here. Alright guys, I'll just fix this up in a second. Just going to drop that in. Alright, so while I'm setting that up in the background, I'm going to just close a couple of things here. Just to give myself a little bit more resources to run this. This is a little bit resource intensive. So I need to make sure that obviously my my DLS is loaded up and that I've got my 202 trades in there, which I have. So I'm just waiting for that to populate. In the meantime, I'm going to come back to my TradeStation and I'm going to start having a look at exactly what, and I'll just move this over. So I've dropped the trade list in there. And what it's done is it's basically filtered the trades out to the days of the week longs and shorts. So every trade that gets dropped into our trade data and our data input, it's automatically shifting those trades into their relevant days of the week longs and shorts to allow us now to go and interrogate that data, because we need to know exactly what's happening with our data for our system, don't we? We need to make sure that, okay, resources are getting a little bit low. I've got a lot of stuff running here. So let me just pull that back a little bit. We'll come back to that. I'll sort that out in a second. So we need to know exactly what's happening with our days of the week, our longs and our shorts, because if we don't interrogate our system, we're not maximizing the strategy based on what we need to do, are we? And that's one of the criteria for us looking at this process. We need to make sure that we're maximizing all of the days of the week longs and shorts. So what I've done is, and I'll just move this over here, we're going to go through this one at a time. Now on Monday, Monday was a day that we were trading, and we were trading on Monday from memory, and I'll just move this out of the way. On Monday, we were only trading the shorts on Monday, and we were not trading the longs at all. So you can see here, Monday shorts. Let's have a look at the shorts and the longs here, and let's have a look at exactly if we were basically trading just the short side on Monday. Here is our breakdown of our performance. You can see it there that we've got a total profit of 506 on the short, on the long side 393, so a total profit of 112.50. So the all trades on the Monday not really making any money, are they? So really, is Monday a day that you're going to want to be trading at all? Because if you have a look at our average trade net profit, it's making money on the short side, $50 average trade net profit, but on the long side, definitely struggling. So if we combine those two together, and we traded Monday both longs and shorts, we're really doing ourselves a little bit of an injustice, because we're not going to make any money at all on the average trade net profit. So that's definitely something that we would need to look at. But what do we notice on the short side? What's happening with these two charts here, longs and shorts here? What's one of the things that you're really picking up on the longs and shorts here? Now remember that we talk about where is the money being made, and what's happening, what's with the DLS, sorry, with the system performance tracker. The system performance tracker is giving you raw data, and it doesn't give you a picture. Now the picture is here that while Monday shorts has been bad, because remember Monday shorts had a max drawdown. Let's have a look at its max drawdown. So max drawdown on is 2,700. Our current drawdown is 1181. So you can see quite clearly that the longs are getting worse and the shorts are getting better. Exactly, Bill. So, or they're flattish at the moment. But would it be reasonable for me to consider setting up the short side here? Because what kind of a market am I coming into? I'm coming into a market with a short bias. I would definitely be thinking, right, well, look, worst case scenario is I haven't had any real trades. I've had a bit of a drop off. I had a spike up on a good winning trade. I haven't really had many trades at all on Monday, but I've recovered a hell of a lot of money since this system hit its max drawdown. So I'm really in a position here to take advantage of that. You know, we've basically had a $1,600 recovery. So I'm in a position to turn this on and say I probably should really be kind of adding this to my portfolio, because average trade net profit is $50. The win rate's 30%, but it's recovered. This is a recovery strategy. So whereas the long side is really not filling me with any confidence at all. It's made no money. Average trade net profit is negative. So I really need to think, well, you know, worst case scenario, I turn Monday off, which I have anyway, and I just trade the short side. All right, so that's our summary for Monday. Do we all agree with that? And you know, a picture paints 1,000 words. That to me is a really good graphic of, all right, well, I know my market really well on coffee. I know that I've got to be aware of the fact that I'm potentially coming into a short bias on this market. Seasonals are lining up, dailies lining up. I'm going to go with Monday on the short side, because statistically, and I'm being objective about this because I'm using my average trade net profit as a way to get into this, and I know that we've had that bounce, so that bounce indicates that I can potentially turn my strategy on. So Monday on the short side is definitely a yes. Monday on the long side is definitely it's a no for me. So I'm saying yes on the short side. On the long side, definitely not. So we'll click over here to Tuesday. Now Tuesday all looks pretty good. It's starting to come off a little bit. So we need to find out what's causing our system to drop off a little bit on Tuesday. And if we have a look at the longs and shorts, really our profit, you can see there, the overall profit, $8,000 on the long side, $5,793 on the short side. Current drawdown on that strategy, current drawdown is 1,500 and 375 on the long side. So really, there's definitely been a little bit of a drawdown on the short side, but some really good profit made on the long side, and the overall average trade net profit on the short side is fantastic. So I would probably leave both of those on. The longs look good. You know, a little bit of a drawdown there, like recently on the long side. Again, you're not going to be making new equity highs every trade, are you? It's going to be, you know, 2 steps forward, 1 step back a lot of the time. So your system is going to be in drawdown at some point. So to me, I would probably leave both Tuesday long and short on. Does everybody agree with that? Yep. So we'll move on to Wednesday. Now Wednesday, this is great because Wednesday here is showing us that the overall profit is 9,862. Now, not really. It's all been made on the long side, as you can see here. It's an interesting kind of scenario because the long side is making a lot of money. But what's happening? We're getting a little bit of a dip. So, to me, I need to be watching these longs for next week, don't I? I really need to be recording where my longs are as far as profit this week and see what kind of a change I get for next week, because I don't want to be dropping too much money on this long side. I may need to go into a situation where I actually lock down profit on the longs by turning some of those days off. If I start to see this it's already trading below our 8-period moving average, and that's really just a kind of a guide for your system being on and off. Wednesday all it's on, obviously. Where's the profit coming from now on the Wednesday? Where's all the profit coming from on Wednesdays now? Because that max drawdown there is at $2,500. So we've had a $2,500 profit, over $2,500 profit, $2,800 profit on this short side. And we've had a little bit of a drop off on the long. So as a trader, I need to be very vigilant now on my longs and protect the profit I've locked in already. And I need to be taking as much advantage as I can on the short side. So Wednesday shorts definitely needs to be considered. Now, if I remember correctly, we don't have Wednesday on, do we? So we're missing some opportunity here. We're missing $2,500 worth of opportunity, or $2,800 of opportunity on the short side on Wednesday. So should I really add in to my high performance system Wednesday? Now, would we have picked that up on the system performance tracker? So Wednesday's made $2,500 or $2,800. That isn't whatever our bounce is. I can guarantee you it's not $2,800. It should definitely be less than that. So we need to be, this is why you can miss little gems. Now, we need to be, as I said before, watching the longs, vigilant on the shorts, and making sure that we add in Wednesday. So, as you've said there, Bill, it's a full house on the short side, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at this stage, because that is a great little recovery. Let's push on to Thursday. So Thursday is quite interesting because we've got $8,200 worth of profit. We've got $6,000 on the short side, $1,400 on the long side, and it's going to be interesting to see. You can see here that shorts are looking good, so I'm feeling really good about the short side on Thursday. We're obviously going into a period where we're going to be stronger on the short side, so there's plenty of opportunity there. What's the issue with the long side here at the moment? Now we've got, if we combine the two together, we've got some really good profit. What do we need to watch out for in the next week and the coming weeks on this long side with our equity graph there? So this week is really should be a take a note of how much money was being made on every day of the week on the longs, because we want to see what this drawdown amount is. Now our current long drawdown is 421. So when we go into next week, we need to know exactly how much money we had a current drawdown on for each of these long days, because we are at the tipping point of turning these off, aren't we? Now, Thursday longs, are we trading Thursday longs? Let's just go back and double check that. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. We're not trading Thursday longs, so we don't have to really worry about it because we haven't got it on anyway. And it's a good decision because, well, actually, Thursday longs is actually profitable. It's got a good average trade net profit, and the current drawdown's only 412. So we actually should have the longs on, and they actually have recovered. So we actually need to. They've recovered it quite well. We need to turn them on, but we also need to just keep an eye on that. So let's turn Thursday longs on. So Thursday longs on, Thursday shorts obviously on. So as we said, a full book for the short side. So definitely got Thursday, we've got Tuesday on, and let's keep going here. And we want to go Friday. So Friday again, average trade net profits are good. The current drawdown there, current drawdown is 0 and 525, so well within our range. Both longs and shorts look good. And yeah, look, we just need to keep an eye on the drawdowns, that's all. So again, longs Friday, shorts Friday, both longs and shorts look good. If we go back to our strategy, we're actually trading both Friday on longs and shorts. We're going to add in Thursday. We'll go back to our, so definitely having Friday on. We've got Wednesday on the short side, and on the long side we're trading, and we'll double check what we're trading on the long side here. So let's just flick back. So we have on the long side a tick on Friday. We're definitely trading Thursdays because we agreed that that's a great recovery. Average trade net profit is good. On Wednesday, we decided that the long side was really good. We just need to watch it because the long side's got an average trade net profit of 308. The drawdown is only 450, so we just need to keep an eye on that. And shorts are definitely on. And on the Tuesday is definitely on for the longs. Just have to keep an eye on that. And then Monday was our only day that we potentially were a little bit dubious about, and Monday longs is definitely off. So not making any money, had a drop in equity. So the only day that we're not considering trading is really Monday longs. Is everybody in agreement with that? And what does that tell us about this system? It tells us that we've got a really robust strategy because we've got almost all days of the week trading. It's pretty exciting, isn't it? When you've got everyday trading, you're not really worried about a specific day not adding value. But what we need to do is we just need to be vigilant with watching our days of the week, making sure that we don't get a drop off in performance. And if we do, we just really need to keep an eye on that long side. So look, what that's meant is that we're going to make some pretty dramatic changes to our, well, not dramatic, but we're going to make some strong changes because we're adding in Wednesday on the short side, and we're actually trading every day except for Monday on the long side. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and we basically that's a fantastic position to be in. So was that helpful, guys? Did you find that going through that process, just going through the DLS again? I'm not sure how often you're doing that. Hopefully you're doing that at least maybe once a week, ideally. Just dropping it in just to take a look. Look, to me, there's no better tool than looking at the equity on the graph, like really to get a good visual of exactly what's happening, and it gets you kind of more in tune with your daily analysis as well. Because when we look at our strategy and we say, right, from a daily point of view, I really need to be watching these longs. So and what happens too is when we're tracking our daily trades in our daily tracker or in our PME, we actually can get a better feel for where the money's being made. And then if we find that we start dropping too many of these days of the week off, then we can look at the market and say, right, well, if I'm losing lots of these days of the week in this time slot that I'm trading, whether it's an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, then perhaps I need to, one, either re-optimize my strategy, or two, maybe the money's coming at a different place. So I need to revisit my 30-minute chart and say, right, well, what's happening from a 30-minute chart perspective, and why is my strategy that worked really well for 6 months or 8 months or however long it worked for suddenly not working? So if we get a situation where we start losing lots of these days of the week, what's our next step? If we lose Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're stuck with probably 2 or 3, or our portfolio hits its circuit breaker. What is our next step? Well, our next step is obviously, number one, we can re-optimize our high performance strategy. So if we re-optimize our strategy, we're looking at what are we looking at, specifically looking at to re-optimize? Stops and targets, exactly. So we'll look at stops and targets so we can re-optimize. The second thing we can do is we can ladder up or ladder down, can't we? Because we might find that if the volatility is dropping off, the 75 share bar might be a little bit too high. If we bring it down to a 55 or a 35, we might find that that's going to give us the range that we need and the profit we need based on the moves that we're getting in the day. Now, so we can re-optimize stops and targets. We can either reduce the tick time or share setting that we have. So, or we can increase it based on volatility, depending on which one. So, reduce, which is laddering up and laddering down. Now, what else can we do? Because if we've got something that's kind of starting to look a bit broken, we can bench it, can't we? So we can basically just say, right, well, we've got a system that's made money. It's hit its circuit breaker. Every system goes through a drawdown, as it would have done here. Now, if you're trading this strategy here and your circuit breaker is, say, maybe $2,000. So at once it hits that equity high of 10,000, you might have a circuit breaker of around about $2,000. Then your system goes off, doesn't it? So basically what you're doing is you're using that fixed R breaker or that fixed circuit breaker. Now whether you're using a moving average or an R breaker, it doesn't matter. Your system is off. Now that system only gets brought back into play when it trades back above your max circuit breaker. So if I draw a line in the sand here and that's off, then this system's not going to go back until it gets... But the trouble is, if you've benched that system, Chris, what's happened if you're trading a portfolio, a $100,000 portfolio, or a 50k portfolio, or a 20k portfolio, and you've got a multi-system strategy running, what's happened when you've benched that system? What has happened? Now remember that you may not have dropped a strategy on your money management, but you may have benched a system. So what that means is that your account might be sitting at, say, 50,000. Your rate of increase is, your next rate of increase for another system might be 51. You've dropped, say, $1,000 or $500. It's not enough to let you drop a system. So you've actually lost a system in your portfolio because it's hit its circuit breaker. What do I do next? So if this system turns off, I've benched it, I'm going to replace it. Now, if the system I bring in is, say, for example, a really good strategy that's running very, very well, and we'll go to a case in point here. Say I bring in soybeans. I'm tracking soybeans here. This is one that I think Gary sent me through. Now, soybeans is running really well. It made $2,500 last week, and this is a very new strategy. I've added this one in, $2,250. It's doing really well. The performance graph there, fantastic. If I add in soybeans, I've got coffee that's hit its drawdown, a $2,000 drawdown. Then it suddenly made a couple $100 or $500 or whatever it is What do I do? Do I substitute, automatically bring coffee back in, or do I rank my systems based on performance and leave the weaker one that had its drawdown out until it becomes the stronger of the group? How do I make a decision on my portfolio? If I've got a cluster of systems, I'm ranking them, aren't I? It's all got to be objective. So everything we do with our portfolio has to be 100% objective. So if I've got this cluster of strategies and one of them's hit its max drawdown, I'm going to go to my ranking table on my PME and I'm going to rank my systems based on what I feel is going to give me the most, the best return on my investment, isn't it? That's really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a low drawdown. So if I bring in soybeans here on a 5 minute, and I know that soybeans is matching up beautifully with my max drawdown because it's helping my overall portfolio drawdown, and it's also performing well, and it's ranking highly in my portfolio. I'm really going to make my decisions based on my performance ranking, aren't I? Not based on past performance, because past performance is no guarantee that we're going to continue on with really great results. And this is one of the things you have to be aware of, that if you've got a market that has been really good to you, or a system's been really good to you and made some good profit, don't build an emotional attachment to it. Cut it straight away. If it's not performing, be ruthless with your strategies, because it's all about making money. And like, if you let a strategy go on just because you like it, or because you like trading that market, or because it's something you put together yourself and you feel really good about that, it's, at the end of the day, it's all about that rate of increase, that profit that you bring into account, and making sure that you can get to that next level. That next level is where you're aiming for. So always trading the best systems possible. And if you have a system that turns off, unless it proves itself again, then it doesn't go automatically back on. So that's what I wanted to cover tonight. I mean, there's a couple of strategies we're gonna look at. This one here is really good. As I said before, 1287 soybeans. This is, now remember, what was the task we set ourselves for the group? What was our task we set ourselves for the group last week? We said, let's try to create a multi-system strategy on soybeans. So, some really good stuff come through. I've got a really good strategy here from Chris as well, multi-system on the momentum, and I can't open that on that workspace, but I'll basically do a quick video on these anyway. I've got some really good systems coming through. Great work. We wanted to put a multi-system strategy together on soybeans. We're almost there. We've got like about 4 or 5 strategies. So by the end of this week, we should have probably close to about 10. So that's fantastic. And, some of the strategies coming through are excellent. So hat off to you guys. You're doing really well. Ideally, you want strategies that aren't trading multiple time frames. You want to be trying to keep it as robust as possible. Average trade net profits looking really good on some of these systems coming through. This one here, I haven't previewed it before, but 63% win rate, $15,000. The profit factor at 2.65. Really good balance on the portfolio. So, and the drawdown there at 1287 is solid. So that's what we want. We want strategies that are tracking well together. I'll load these up into a PME so you can have a good look at them. But basically, I've probably got about 5 or 6 so far. If you have anything you want to send through on soybeans, I'm more than happy to take it. I always like to build these portfolios. So we'll put together this by the end of this week, and we should end up with a good cluster of systems. So for those of you who are interested in trading soybeans, it's another market that we can kind of tap into. Any questions, guys, before I wrap it up? Yeah, Bill, you made a good comment there. Bill's comment for the group is that the process should guide you as opposed to you forming a bias towards a seasonal chart. That's exactly right. So just stepping back a little bit into our coffee example, that we don't want to preempt what's going to happen on coffee, do we? We're not really here to forecast market turns in the market, are we? We're not forecasting. We're not trying to forecast a directional change in coffee, and we're not trying to anticipate any type of top or bottom on coffee. All we're doing is we're letting our system deliver profit based on its performance, and we're going to cut days of the week and the long and shorts off that aren't making money. So the trouble is that you can have a system that has a market that has a strong bias, and you're trading a system and you're thinking that you're going to be making a certain amount of money on one side based on the bias, but you can be surprised at how much money you actually make on that system on the opposite side, because remember, we're trading intraday, so you're going to get swings in volatility, swings in movement, and you don't necessarily need to have need to have strong directional days to make money on either side of the market. It can be based on what happens during the volatility of the day. So you can definitely get some really good profit both sides of the market in a one directional market based on intraday trading. Obviously, if you're longer term and you're trying to trade against the trend, that's not going to really work out for you very well at all. But from your testing, you will probably have noticed that there is opportunity based on intraday trading to make profit on the opposing side of the market when there's a strong trend. So guys, that's going to wrap it up for me. It was good to go through the DLS. We haven't done that for a while, and I'm going to probably do that more regularly. So we'll probably do a little bit of a quick review. Won't go through as much detail as we did tonight, but it's really good to have a look at that DLS and just tracking your systems like that. If you're only monitoring a few systems, it's a very easy process. It didn't take long. Thanks for your time, everyone. Have a fantastic day tomorrow, and looking forward to catching you on Thursday. And just a reminder too, there's been a few videos and things updated to or uploaded to the website. So jump into the website. You'll notice them under the weekly live training area and also system review area. I'll be popping this one in as well. And I've also I'm loading up some more training material on each of the systems too. So you'll see some new material in there. So thanks for your time, everyone. Have a fantastic rest of the day, and we'll catch you on Thursday. Cheers.